Hi, good morning to all. In a previous lecture, we discussed how the data is transferred between the registers within a processor. So, in order to transfer the data, each and every register has two control signals. So, one is input control signal and a second one is output control signal. In order to transfer the data from register to processor internal bus, we have to activate the output control signal. Means we have to set the output control signal. For transferring the data from bus to the register, we have to activate the input control signal. Okay, so each and every register is going to be designed by using either a rising or falling edge triggered flip-flop. So along with this flip-flop, we are also have two input multiplexer and also a tri-state register or a tri-state gate. Okay, so by using control signals of the registers, we will transfer the data from one register to another register. And in today's topic, we discuss how the operations are going to be performed within the ALU. Mainly, we will know how the operands are transferred to the ALU. After transferring the operands, after receiving the operands, then only ALU will perform the operation according to the instructions opcode. Okay, so in today's topic, we will look how the operands are transferred to the ALU and how the result is transferred from ALU to the processor internal bus. Okay, see, performing an arithmetic and logical operation. So here ALU is a combinational circuit that has no internal storage. Okay, so here we are using an ALU. It is designed by a combinational circuit. It is designed internally. A combination ALU is a combinational circuit. Okay, so it has no internal storage, means it has no memory. Okay, just it perform the arithmetic and logical operations on two operands. Okay, it has only two operands A and B. Just it will perform an operation on these operands according to the instruction. And also it has no internal storage. Okay, see here one of the operand is the output of the multiplexer. See, so one of the operands, so ALU has two operands. Among these two operands, one operand is coming from the multiplexer. Means ALU will get a operand from these two input multiplexer. And other operand means B is directly from the bus. Okay, ALU has two operands, those are A and B. So ALU will get A operand from two input multiplexer and ALU will get B operand from processor internal bus. Okay, and after getting these operands A and B, ALU will perform the operation according to the instruction which is stored in the instruction register. Okay, and the result produced by the ALU is going to be stored in the Z register. Means Z, it is a temporary register. Why here we are using a temporary register Z? Why? Because ALU has no internal storage. That's why whenever the result is produced by the ALU, it is stored in this temporary register Z. Therefore, a sequence of operations, okay, added the content of okay, so ALU will get the operands A and B and it will perform the required operation, and that result is stored in the Z temporary register. Okay, now we will take an example, that is adding the content of register R1 and R2. Means the data which is present in R1 register is going to be added with the data which is present in the register R2. Okay, after adding R1 and R2, we have to store that some result into the R3 register. Okay, so what we have to do, first we have to transfer the data which is present in R1 register and also the data which is present in R2 register to ALU. ALU will perform the addition operation, and that result we have to store in R3 register. See how this operation will perform. All the signals whose names are given in any steps are activated for the duration of clock cycle corresponding to that step. All other signals are inactivated. See, in step 1, so first step, what we have to do? In first step, the data which is present in R1 register is transferred to ALU. Okay, means the data which is present in R1 register is one of the operand to ALU. Means what we have to do? See, here after R0 register we will have here and one more register, another register R1. So, okay, so from here the data which is present here R1 register has to be transferred as one of the input, one of the operand to the ALU. Means the data which is present in R1 register is transferred either A input or B input of the ALU. Okay, for this operation, first what we have to do? We have to transfer the data which is present in R1 register into the processor internal bus. For transferring the data from register to processor internal bus, which control signal we have to activate? See, from register to bus, we have to activate the output control signal. So first we have to activate R1 out control signal. So the output of a register R1 is activated. Okay, so from this the data in R1 register is transferred to the processor internal bus. Okay, so from bus, so I am giving R1 data as A operand. Okay, R1 data will come at A and R2 data will come at D. Okay, so for first I have activated output control signal of the R1 register. So the data in R1 register is transferred to the processor internal bus. So from this processor internal bus, I have to transfer that data to Y register because I am giving R1 register data as A input to the ALU. So the data has to be transferred to Y register. Here Y is also one of the register. It is a temporary register. Y will also have two control signals, input and output control signal. Now what we have to do? We have to transfer the data which is present in the bus into this Y register. So we have to activate input control signal, Y in. Okay, so first R1 out control signal activate chesamu. Next we are activated Y in control signal. So the data which is present in R1 register is transferred to temporary register Y. Okay, now the content of R1 is stored in Y register. Okay, so the data which is present in Y, it is now transferred to A input to the ALU. Okay, so it comes in second step. So this is the first step. In first step, what we did, we are just transfer the data which is present in R1 register to Y in register. Okay, in second step, what we are going to do? In step 2, the multiplexer select the signal is set to select Y. Okay, now we have to select the data which is present in Y and it is transferred from this multiplexer to one of the A input to the ALU. Okay, for selecting Y, see here the multiplexer either selects constant 4 or Y. So during the operation, okay, during execution of an instruction, the multiplexer will select the temporary register Y. And during incrementing the program counter, okay, incrementing or updating the program counter with next instruction address, during that operation the multiplexer will select the constant 4. Okay, so now here we are executing an instruction, so the multiplexer will select the Y register. So here we will give a select 1, it will select the Y register. So the multiplexer will transfer the data which is present in Y register to A input of the A to the ALU. Okay, in first step we transferred the data which is present in R1 register to Y. Okay, in second step the multiplexer selects the Y register. Okay, and then the data is given as input A of the ALU. At the same time, means in this same time, the content of register R2, see R1 is transferred to the ALU. Okay, during this second step, so the content of R2 register also transferred to the ALU. Okay, so for this transferring we have to activate the, for transferring the data which is present in R2 register to the processor internal bus, we have to activate the R2 out control signal. Okay, so whenever the R2 out control signal is activated, the data in the R2 register is transferred to the processor bus. From this processor bus, okay, so the R2 is directly gated to the ALU at the same time. Okay, so during the same time the content of R2 are gated onto the bus by activating R2 out control signal bus, and hence it is given as B input to ALU. So now the ALU got both the operands A and B. See, so R2 out is activated, means the data is transferred to the processor internal bus. From that the data is directly transferred. So one of the input means B input to the ALU. So select Y. So depending upon the Y register selection, the data which is present in the Y register is transferred to A input to the ALU. Okay, so now ALU got both the operands A and B. Okay, and next what ALU has to do now? It has to perform the operation according to the instruction. Okay, so here what we are considered here, addition operation. Okay, ALU will perform both arithmetic and logical operation. Okay, now what ALU has to select? It has to perform addition operation. So ALU will select the add operation. Okay, so by using ALU control lines, ALU will select the addition operation. After selecting addition operation, ALU will add both the operands A and B. After adding A and B, the result is going to be stored into the Z register. Why? ALU has no internal storage, so the result is stored in Z register by activating Z in control signal. So Z is also, it is a temporary register. Okay, so Z register will also have two control signals, Z in and Z out. So whenever Z in is high, the result which is produced by the ALU is stored in Z. Okay, so after addition operation, we have to activate Z in control signal. So whenever we activated this Z in control signal, the addition result is stored in Z temporary register. Okay, so now our sum is stored in this Z register. Now our next step, in third step, what we have to do? See, so in our instruction we have to add R1 and R2. We are added R1 and R2, and now that result is stored in the Z temporary register. But in our instruction, the sum result is we have to stored in R3 register. Okay, the sum has to be stored in R3 register. Now the sum from ALU, the output from ALU is stored in the Z register. Now what we have to do? We have to transfer the content of Z into R3 register. So first step, what we have to do in third step, we have to activate Z out control signal. Whenever we activated Z out control signal, the data which is present in this Z register is transferred into this processor internal bus. Now the sum is in the processor internal bus. Okay, now we have to activate R3 in control signal. Whenever we activated R3 in control signal, the data or the sum which is present in the processor internal bus is transferred to the R3. So for this purpose, we have to first, in third step, we activated Z out control signal. So the data which is present in Z register is transferred to the processor internal bus. From processor internal bus, the data has to be transferred to the or stored into the R3 register. So we have to activate the input control signal of that register. So R3 in is activated. Hence the final sum is stored in the R3 register. Okay, so in case of ALU, so ALU has ALU control lines. How many control lines we are having? See, suppose if I designed an ALU, it will perform or it can perform 8 different operations. Either they may be arithmetic or logical operation. So my ALU can perform 8 different operations. Okay, so for these 8 different operations, my ALU will have only 3 control signals from 000 to all ones, means 0 to 7, means total 8 operations will be selected by using 3 control signals. If my ALU will perform 16 operations, means in that condition ALU will have 4 control lines. So depending on these control lines, ALU will select the operation. Okay, after completion of this operation, the result is stored in temporary register Z. From this Z register, so the result is transferred to the corresponding destination register. So, okay, so this is how the data is transferred to the ALU, means how the operands are transferred to the ALU and how the ALU will perform the operation. After performing the operation, ALU will store the result into the Z temporary register by activating Z in control signal. Okay, from Z register to the data has to be transferred to the destination register. In our example, our destination is R3. R1 and R2 are source register. Here R3 is the destination register. From the temporary register Z to the result is sent to the destination register. Here our destination register is R3. So the result is transferred from Z to R3 by activating Z out and R3 in control signals. So this is how an ALU will perform the operation. In next lecture, we will see how to fetch a word from the memory, or how to store a word of data into the memory. Okay, so fetching the data from the memory, how we will search the data from the memory, and also how we will store a data into the memory. Okay, so this we will look in our next lecture. Okay, so for data transferring we have to use the MDR, memory data register. So by using these data register, we will get the data from the memory. So in next lecture we will see how we have to fetch the data from the memory into the MDR, and also how the data is going to be stored from this MDR register into this memory. Okay, so this we will look in our next lecture. Okay, thank you.